clean, old-fashioned hate, baby. Black Friday action, 3:30 Eastern, ABC, Georgia Tech. This game should be played on campus. All right, this should be in Bobby Dodd. It should be in Athens, being played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Brent Key doesn't care. Guarantee you Kirby Smart doesn't care, but here we go. Georgia minus 13, according to BetMGM. Similar to Texas and Texas A&M. This game doesn't really have all that many stakes behind it, like Georgia's college football playoff team, whether they lose this game or not. Georgia Tech, I guess you could talk me into the idea of if they were to beat Georgia, maybe they feel better about their at-large chances. Even that feels like a stretch. At the end of the day, the stakes are pretty low relative to other stakes in the world of college football. That's why this is going to be awesome. That's why this game could also get weird. Because Georgia Tech, you're probably playing pretty free. If you're Georgia, you should be playing with urgency because it's your rival, but it's not going to impact your SEC title hopes, not going to impact your playoff hopes. We'll see. Can Georgia Tech set the table? They're a 57% run-the-football team. Haynes King is a good thrower of the football downfield. He's been good this year, but he's really good when the defense has to account for something in the run game, when Jamal Haynes gets going. When you got that 1-2 punch of Haynes and Haynes, of Haynes King and Jamal Haynes, giving defenses issues. Haynes King, this might be the whatever-it-takes game. Like, they may have to peel Haynes King in what resembles his jersey off of the turf in Mercedes-Benz Stadium for Georgia Tech to win this football game. It might have to be 20 carries. It might have to be him throwing his body around for a conversion on 4th and short. Like, it's going to take every single ounce of Haynes King, as Cato says, Haynes King donating his body to the sport of football for Georgia Tech to win, because in that world now, Georgia Tech winning means they had something on the ground. If you can't run the football, you can't set the table, you can't have explosive plays, it all starts with that. Now, the thing that makes you nervous is Georgia's pretty good up against the run. Just held Texas to less than 100 yards rushing a couple of weeks ago. Like, Georgia, as a front seven, finding their footing. Like, those linebackers are getting downhill with bad intentions, starting to look more and more Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann-ish. Can Brent Key and the boys, can Buster Faulkner and the boys calling the offense, can they create some misdirection and just some, not lack of gap integrity, but maybe just like a couple of extra inches of daylight for that running game to create ideal second and third down situations? Because that's what setting the table would be. Like, setting the table might not be running for 200 yards. It might just be holding the football longer than Georgia, shortening the game, having more possessions, and allowing Haynes King to have more of a say on this game than Gunnar Stockton. Has to be there for Georgia Tech, with it being a spread right around 2 scores, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, you got to be able to find a way to run the football, Georgia Tech. I don't think you beat Georgia left-handed. So, misdirection, eyes getting a little bit undisciplined. We pick up 3.3 yards a carry. People don't know this. 3.3 times 3, first, second, and third down. Go for it on 4th. That's a first down every drive. Quick math. What's this first half look like? Because Georgia Tech, they've started a bit slow through different points in this season, especially against Pitt, which you hate to see if you're a Yellow Jacket fan. Georgia's also had some slow starts this year. Now, it's harder to remember those because in your mind's eye, you have the Mississippi State thwacking. You have the Texas big dog game when it comes to Kirby Smart and what they've done out there. But if Georgia gets leverage in this game, meaning they're up 10-0 in the first quarter, they're up at the half 21-7, kiss of death. Because at that point, Georgia Tech, in the first quarter, they don't have to abandon their run game, but you get to the third quarter, it's 24-10. It's what I just said, 21-7. It's definitively favoring Georgia. They have leverage. They got you in a little sleeper hold. Haynes King throwing his way back into this game is not how Georgia Tech wins. It's not. Now, in the same way, if Georgia starts slow and Tech is able to get momentum and they can play from ahead and they're able to keep you guessing, okay, now we maybe you're checking in with Matt Berry at the half, and it's like, wait a second, hang on now. We got some madness in Atlanta. Georgia Tech taking it to Georgia. We'll keep you posted. We'll see you at the half. If that's the update you're getting, things get weird. Rivalry Weekend is known for getting weird, so maybe we see that game script. But that's a script that has to happen for Georgia Tech if they want to find a way to win this game. Now, the thing with things getting weird, oftentimes a weird game correlates to your quarterback looking a little bit weird. Can Gunnar Stockton avoid weird? He's done it for the most part all year long. Since his first game at Georgia, going from start number 2, he's thrown for over 60% when it comes to his throws, the completion percentage. Efficient, doesn't really turn the football over. He's been solid all year long. Here's what I like about Georgia, though, when it comes to supporting Gunnar Stockton and their ability as an offense to kind of avoid weird situations. There's a lot of spare parachutes for Georgia, it feels like. Like whenever you jump out of a plane, I've been crazy enough to skydive one time in my life, and the thing that gave me some comfort was, hey, if this first parachute, for whatever reason, has a hole in it, or the idiot packing the thing was an idiot and didn't do it properly, we got like 2 or 3 other parachutes we can pull to make sure we land safely. If Gunnar Stockton looks a little bit weird in the first half, uncharacteristic interception, or Georgia's run game's having issues for whatever reason, or the pass game can't get going, you got the Mike Bobo creativity. You got Gunnar Stockton and his legs to bail you out. If the pass game's having trouble, Georgia can sit back and I believe run the football. I have a very difficult time believing that Georgia Tech can effectively take away every single spare parachute that Georgia has to the tune of them stopping this Georgia offense. All right, now here's the biggest thing I'm worried about. Here's my, they tell you in football and just in life, it's a good rule, but you never want to go palms up. Okay, for those of y'all listening on podcast, my palms are up like I don't know what's going on. I'm shrugging a little bit. I'm like, I don't know, you tell me kind of posture. You never want to go palms up, but I'm going palms up here when it comes to how I feel about what Georgia Tech's going to do against the Georgia run game. Like, Georgia is a walking 200-yard game as an outfit. They're really, I think, found their footing, too, when it comes to the way they're running the football, when they're pulling their guard, when they're pulling their tackle. They're getting downhill. Elephants on parade. They got momentum, and you got to just stand in the gap and be the bigger man, and it's tough to do that against the Georgia offensive line. And Georgia Tech is allowing 5 yards a carry. Gave up 7 yards a carry against NC State. I'm like, man, that is really, really tough for me to get behind when it comes to picking Georgia Tech to win this game. Also, other palms up point here, we all just watched the Pitt game, and that was in Bobby Dodd. You're telling me that Georgia can't do what Pitt just did? Telling me Gunnar Stockton can't recreate at a higher floor level what Mason Heinschel just did to you? And that tight end for Pitt and what Georgia has with Lawson Lucky and Delp, I think it's bad. I think it gets bad in Mercedes-Benz, man. I really do. Last year was awesome. Last year's Georgia, though, was a lot more fugazi, a lot more play with their food, a lot more what are we getting from the dogs this week with Carson Beck giving the football away. That's not this Georgia team. This Georgia team is way more Kirby-ish. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to stop the run. Georgia's going to win. Georgia's going to cover. Out of respect for Brent Key and the boys out there in Georgia Tech, we are not going to give a final score, but we will take Georgia to win and Georgia to cover on Black Friday.